Japan, the land of the rising sun. Japan is a constitutional monarchy led by the current emperor, Akihito. He has very little political power. He is mainly the symbolic and diplomatic leader of the country. The political leader of Japan is the Prime Minister, who leads the cabinet. Japan was settled by people from the Asian mainland. Japan has been ruled by many dynasties, by samurai warriors. They isolated themselves from the outside world for hundreds of years and expanded over most of Asia. Japan fought many wars in the early 20th century, defeated many other countries, and has been beaten themselves. The Yamato are the dominant ethnic group of Japan. While the term Yamato people isn't really used anymore, it was originally used to differentiate the Yamato people from the ethnic minority in Japan. The Yamato Japanese ethnic group makes up 98.5% of the population. Indigenous peoples in Japan. Other indigenous peoples of Japan include the Ainu and Barakuman. The Ainu are from northern Japan. Their cultural and racial background is different from that of ethnic Japanese. The Ainu live in Hokkaido, parts of Honshu, and the Kuril Islands, but now they live mostly in Hokkaido. The Ainu were probably descendants of Mongolian migrants who settled in the northern Japanese islands. When the ethnic Japanese moved northward, the Ainu's land was taken from them. In a 2009 news story, Japan Today reported, many Ainu were forced to work, essentially as slaves, for weigh-in, resulting in the breakup of families and the introduction of smallpox, measles, malaria, and tuberculosis into their community. In 1869, the new government renamed Izu as Hokkaido and incorporated it into Japan. It banned the Ainu language. It took Ainu land away and prohibited salmon fishing and deer hunting. In 1899, the Japanese government passed an act labeling the Ainu as former aborigines. They granted them automatic citizenship, which denies them the status of an indigenous group. In a period of only 36 years, the Ainu went from being an isolated group to having their land, language, religion, and customs taken over by the Japanese. The land was given to the ethnic Japanese who had decided to move to Hokkaido. The Ainu were forced to learn Japanese, required to have Japanese names in order to change their religious practices and beliefs. From 1899 until 1997, the government stated there were no ethnic minority groups in Japan. It was not until June 6, 2008 that the Ainu were formally recognized as an indigenous group. The Barakuman. Barakuman means hamlet people. Barakuman were placed into two groups during Japan's feudal days. The Eta, which means defiled ones or filthy commoners, and the Hidden, which means non-human. They had to do jobs that involved death, like grave digging. Shinto religion considered these jobs unclean, so the Barakuman were looked on as defiled. The Hidden were ex-convicts, prostitutes, and beggars. They are considered the lowest of the low in society. In the early 18th century, the Barakuman had to follow rules about what they could wear, where they could go, and how long they were out. This futile system was abolished, but no laws were passed against the Barakuman. Over the years, many groups have formed to protect the Barakuman rights. What are their lives like? Many Barakuman have assimilated into Japanese culture, but there are still 4,000 to 6,000 Barakuman communities. Social discrimination. Social discrimination against residents of Baruka areas is still an issue in certain places. Since this is rarely covered by the media, many people are not even aware it is a continuing issue. In western Japan, mainly in the Osaka, Kyoto, Hyogo, and Hiroshima, social discrimination continues to occur. In 1922, the leaders of the Hisabetsu Baruko organized a movement, the Leveler Association of Japan, to advance their rights. After World War II, the National Committee for Barukaman Liberation was founded. In 1980, local governments began special education programs in areas with large Barukaman populations. In all parts of Japan except for Hokkaido and Okinawa, branches of Barukaman right groups exist. Even in societies that look modern and clean and good on the outside, there is still social unrest and discrimination and people having to fight for their rights. Yes, even in Japan.